The other important stakeholder is the training industry. And this is a point made by Dr. Intan, that the need for us to work with private education industry as well, and I fully agree. We always have different tiers in our partnership with private training providers. The first tier is what we call CET centers, Continuing Education and Training Centers. These are private providers. It could be filmmaking, or could be digital animation, culinary. There's 40 of them now. And for those, WDA have built it up over the last 12 years, with 40 of them now. And each of them, we adopt the approach of working closely with them to build up the curriculum, accredit them to something which the industry will recognize, set out their objectives clearly, making sure that the courses are open to everyone in the public, and then buy training places from them, and then audit the quality of the programs very tightly, and also measure the outcomes. So in response to Mr. Leon Pereira, we do have such a system where professionally the training is a lot more expensive. We actually put in a lot more resources to buy the training places so that a member of public can attend those programs. Except we do this on the supply end, whereas SkillsFuture credit is at the funding at the demand end. So for more expensive training, we fund at the supply end because we have to be assured that the supply is of good quality. So 40 CET centers today are the closest partners WDA has. The next level is actually a lot of in-company training or company that deliver one course that's useful, and I think we should look at those. And that should include maybe internal audit or IT audit that Engineer Lee Bihua mentioned, and we will take an inclusive approach. If there are indeed programs that professionally help our workers to get to deepen their skills or go into or chart a new career, we should look at them. And there are plenty of precedences for us to do so. Of course, the last layer of partners are the thousands of training providers that deliver courses in the SkillsFuture credit eligibility course directory. 15,000 of them now. And these are the ones that there are many of them. And we may sometimes have some enforcement problem. Partly because we started off with an inclusive approach. We want to build up the courses because there's so many workers that need training. So whenever people come along and propose to us this course, that course, we do a bit of audit, a bit of checks, and if okay, we include them in the course directory. That's why over the last few months, 6-7 months now, we build it up to 15,000 courses, which is not small. In fact, the complaint now we usually hear is so many, how to choose, right? Which goes back to the issue of guidance. But over time, we will have to start culling them and start to audit them and also start to have some quality control. This is a point also raised by Mr. Louis Ng, which I think is very valid. Today, some upfront checks, some random audit checks, but over time, I think we need to make use of the power of public feedback. SSG, WDA, is planning on the ILP, the Individual Learning Portfolio. It is actually a portal. Through the portal, all 15,000 courses are in there. Trainees who attend the courses, they can rate them, and there will be peer review. So if you attend the language course where your English is better than the trainer, I think you can put in the feedback and put in your rating. And not different from shopping from Amazon or shopping from Taobao, you can check the peer review rating. So this is a feature that we will put into the ILP. Hopefully it will be ready sometime next year. And then we will have an additional mechanism to curate the course directory. There is a comment on, I think by Dr. Intan, about private education institutions delivering degree programs, and that some young people attend those courses, got their degree, and then are disappointed. They did not get the job they wish to have. This is a concern. I think we totally understand for the young, they want to get a degree. They, as well as their parents. And I think we should support as many of our young people to get a degree, provided our economy can sustain that many graduates. But at the same time, we have to make sure that the degree they get is something that the industry needs. If not, it's very frustrating. So for the private education institution, I have mentioned in this house before, we need to have first more transparency about their employment outcomes. I think this is a point Mr. Leon Pereira made as well. If you train people, you educate them to have a degree, are you just fueling the desire for a degree, or are you trying to answer and address an industry need? And that is best measured by employment outcomes. So we have done some work for the top six biggest private education institution. I think we should do more so that students have the information to decide whether to take up the courses. And where possible, try to shift them from providing just general degrees that maybe the industry don't need to SkillsFuture related programs, whatever qualifications they lead up to that the industry need. And I think we will do the students a big service by doing so. So in line with all that, that we have to work with so many stakeholders in order to succeed, the mix of board members, the point raised by Dr. Intan and Ms. Tanalakshmi, it must have a good mix, must have a good mix. I will maintain the character of the current WDA board, which is largely industry, and then a sprinkling of different expertise from other sectors, including from the union, including from people who are well-versed with finance and audit. This is the intention that I mentioned very early. We are not diluting or trying to change the character of WDA. We are taking their DNA and injecting into MOE. But it will not be possible for every sector to be represented. The board, the bill only provides for 15 people. We have more than 15 sectors. So we will supplement that with all the skills sectorial tripartite councils that we have. And so we will have representation across all sectors, but not at the board level. The board will have a good mix of different talent.